You know, Mr. Chairman, I've said it before. I will say it again. I'll say it as many times as is necessary to respond. Chris Stevens communicated regularly with the members of my staff. He did not raise security with the members of my staff. I communicated with him about certain issues. He did not raise security with me. He raised security with the security professionals. Now, I know that's not the answer you want to hear because it's being asked in many different ways by committee members. But those are the facts, Mr. Chairman.
Hillary Clinton, front-runner for the 2016 Democratic presidential nomination, was on Capitol Hill this week. Mrs. Clinton gave testimony on her 4-year service as Secretary of State between 2009 and 2013, and specifically in relation to the September 2012 terrorist attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, in which 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens, were murdered. Republicans believe Mrs. Clinton has not had the opportunity to tell the whole story, especially about the period leading up to the Benghazi attack. Democrats say Republicans are playing politics to discredit Mrs. Clinton's presidential campaign. The exchanges were sometimes heated. Here's GOP committee chairman Trey Gowdy.
All right, I want to draw your attention to an email about Libya from Mr. Blumenthal to you, dated April 2011. It will be Exhibit 67. And this is informative. Should we pass on, and in parentheticals, unidentified to the White House? If you were going to pass something on to the White House, why would you take off the identifiers?
Because it was important to evaluate the information, and from a lot of intelligence that I have certainly reviewed over the years, you often don't have the source of the intelligence. You look at the intelligence and you try to determine whether or not it is credible, whether it can be followed up on.
Well, I'm going to accept the fact that you and I come from different backgrounds, because I can tell you that an unsourced comment could never be uttered in any courtroom. You have
We're
to have
not talking
the
about
right.
courtrooms, Mr. Chairman.
No.
We're talking about intelligence.
No, we're talking about credibility and the
Well-
ability to assess who a source is and whether or not that source has ever been to Libya, knows anything about Libya, or has business interest in Libya, all of which would be important if you were going to determine the credibility, which I think is why you probably took his information off of what you sent to the White House,